Hey there, it's BitB, and welcome out to another BitB stream. Thanks for coming out. It is Saturday, and I am doing some more Dual Destinies. So, if you recall, we finished up the last chapter. We're moving on to the new one. This one has to do with the court bombings, and apparently it took place outside of a space shuttle incident. Ooh, this sounds interesting, and it immediately caught my attention, and all I saw was the intro cutscene. So, I want to see this stuff. This should be cool. So, how is everybody doing in the chat? I hope you guys are doing okay today. I will let you know right now. I've got some kind of a head cold that I am crossing my fingers isn't the start of some kind of a sinus infection. Oh, Frankie's here. Here on time for once. I don't... Oh. The graphics on Twitch just did a weird thing for me. Did it do it for anybody else? In fact, it's doing a lot of weird things for me. Twitch, compose yourself. Yep. Damn it. Must be like the weird low latency thing. Oh, it's also happening on YouTube. Look, it's so pretty. Getting better. Oh, and Professor Render is here. Hey! Okay, let's go ahead and dive into the thing. The graphics were melting for a second. Well, hopefully our faces won't melt anymore tonight. So let's go ahead and dive into this. Just a heads up, though, I will mention that like I said, I have some kind of a head cold, and I'm crossing my fingers that this isn't some kind of a weird... I don't know. I have had some pretty bad sinus infections around this time of year. In fact, I kind of feel it. I don't know. It's that lightheadedness that you feel. I actually, I was at the store earlier today, and I ended up sort of, not really fainting. It's hard to explain. Basically, just a rush to your head, and you have no idea what the heck happened. So, hopefully, that will not cause any kind of issues tonight. As long as I just relax in this game where I scream at the top of my lungs. Ooh, Brennan is going off to clean the subcon well. Clean it good. Oh, by the way, while we're starting out the stream and while I have anybody here, I know we're kind of putting this off exponentially, but while we have everybody here, I wanted to point out that on Sunday, I'm going to be celebrating the 500th stream for BitB Streams. Which actually, I've done it like a little bit more than 500, but this is the 500th recorded stream that I have uploaded and archived on YouTube. As far as I know, hopefully my math isn't wrong, but I'm calling this the 500 because it's easier. But anywho's, so yeah, I'm going to be celebrating that. And Brennan gave me kind of a jumping off point to come up with an idea. He mentioned that I should probably do something community related. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I decided that we are going to be playing Jackbox games on Sunday, and I got it all set up, mostly ready to go, just as soon as I have like everybody together in the same room. 500-ish stream on Sunday, pretty much. You know, if you discount all the ones where I didn't actually upload them. If you include those things and the ones where they didn't actually get to the screen, it's probably something like 5 or 10. But I'm going for 500. So, that's just a heads up. So, if you want to join in on the Jackbox festivities, it's going to be happening on Saturday, and I'm really excited. Brandon says, I don't like Jack in the Boxes. They scare me. It's okay. This one is a lot less scary, unless we play Murder Trivia Party. But anyway, oh, and by the way, if you have never played a Jackbox game, or, you know, something from Jackbox games before, basically they are internet-enabled games where you punch in a code on a website and then you can interact with the game. It's one of those things. And it's basically sort of like internet... Imagine like some kind of a game show, except it was electric and it involved your like web browsers and like your tablets and stuff. Professor Render is making Jack in the Box jokes for, yeah, food. So, yeah. Oh, Funny Stuff says, somewhere in an alternate universe, there is me who is playing Kahoot instead. I've never played Kahoot. I feel like I really need to pick that up since most people have compared the two. Brand says, I never had, but I know it's like a tagline thing. Not really. It's just a whole lot of prompt type of games. Whatever. It should be fun. I think you guys will enjoy it. But anyway, that's going to be happening on Sunday. So if you want to join in on the festivities, and also get an opportunity to jump in and actually play the game along with me and a group of friends that hopefully will be coming together on a Discord call. If you're interested in that, I'm going to be doing that on Sunday. So just a heads up for that before we begin streaming this game. I think we should actually get to that. Okie dokie. So, December 16th, 9:12 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 5. Oh, and also, it would help if I had the music on. There we go. Time for another trial to begin. But this one is different. I'm sorry to bother you. Whoa. Oh, hi! Are you alright, Apollo? Was I making a scary face just now? Oh, hi, Juniper. Yes, I'm fine. I was just doing my Chords of Steel exercises. Now I'm all ready to go. Yes, knowing you, I'm sure you'll be just fine. Oh, I brought you a present from my garden. It's a loofah. What? Is this a lotus root? That's right. My grandma says lotus root is good for your eyes. She even says that if you look through the holes, it can help you see into the future. Your grandma's insane. It's for good luck. Maybe later you can cook it and... Thanks for this. I'm gonna have some right now. Oh my! Are you eating that freaking thing raw? Kinda tough though. You can't eat it raw, but thank you for the enthusiastic try. Oops, if she didn't think me weird before, she will now. I gotta calm down. Apollo, I'm sorry I'm late! Everybody's so hypertension right now. Hi, Athena. Junie, I didn't know you were coming today. Did you come to cheer Apollo on? Oh, I get it. You sly little thing, you. Ha ha ha. Athena, stop. Someone's got a crush. Quit kidding around, Athena. The trial's about to start any second. Is everything all set? Oh, Apollo. When will you... Oh, Apollo. When will you ever figure it out, right? Figure out what? Hi... What? Oh, that was a sigh. Never mind. Wow, that was the longest sigh I've ever heard. Oh, you poor bastard. This is it. It's all over for me. They're gonna find me guilty. Good. Good to know that we have your cooperation and your support. This is our client, one Mr. Solomon Sol Starbuck. He's a very famous astronaut who happens to be an acquaintance of mine. You wouldn't know it right now, but he's usually a very upbeat and driven person. The science of the crime this time happened... No, sorry. This image immediately shouts science for me. Anyway, the scene of the crime this time happened to be the Cosmos Space Center. Back in high school, my best friend and I went there almost a little too much. But that's where we met Mr. Starbuck. The science of crime. We asked about space travel, and he'd launch into story after story with so much passion. Back in those days, the man was 100% my hero. And now he's a murderer. How about that? Are you sure you're okay with being my lawyer, Apollo? Of course I'm sure. I know you, Mr. Starbuck. I know you're not the type to commit murder. This is literally this is the witness's blood on my head. What do you think this was? Die? Thanks, but... I was supposed to be in space right about now. Will you cut that out? He's so depressed, it almost seems like an act. He's been away too long from his mistress, space. The launch getting called off must have been a huge shock. I'll probably never get the chance to go into space again. Don't say that! Don't stop believing! Besides, you just have to go into space. You have to go into space again. Yeah. I don't think I could face Clay in the afterlife if I just rotted away in a cell. Clay Terran. Oh, I can't believe he was murdered. I mean, he was such a promising astronaut under your command. Yeah, he was a good guy. Always there to pick me up when I was down. No one loved life as much as him, that's for sure. He was always so full of energy, telling me, "You're fine, Mr. Starbuck." This freaking guy, he just, like, oozes bad vibes. How could something like this happen to a guy like him, huh? I've never seen Mr. Starbuck so down. Stop sighing, jeez. Gonna make me tired. Clay's gone and I'm going to prison. I wish I could burn up like a shooting star right now. I'm trying to see the connection between depression and space. There's probably something. Ooh, Brennan's got the hook shot. Neat. Mr. Starbuck, Mr. Starbuck, you'll be fine. What is it? What's with this yelling? I'll get to the bottom of this today. You'll see. And in exchange, I want you to go back into space for you and Clay. Promise? Does that mean you have lots of evidence to prove my innocence? No! Oh. Oh, yeah, that is the joke. Oh, well, about that, we didn't get to investigate the area as much as I'd have liked, thanks to the police. Nice weather today. How's your day? I'm done for. I'm a goner. Everybody thinks I did it. Thought I was gonna soar like a comet, but I'm just gonna crash like a meteorite. No, don't say that, Mr. Starbuck. Don't count yourself out yet. I know it's hard to lose a teammate, but you've got to keep going. And what about you, Apollo? What about me? I was just thinking, wasn't Clay your best friend? Oh, okay, here's where the personal stuff gets in. We need to focus on the trial right now. Are you all ready to go? Apollo? You can't hide your emotions from her, unfortunately. The trial's about to begin. In the defense, if the defense would please proceed into the courtroom. Okay, here we go. This is it. This is one trial I can't afford to lose. I've got the strange suspicion that you are. I mean, technically speaking, nobody ended up getting a verdict in this court, from what I remember. Either that or it happened off screen. I have no clue. For Clay's sake and our clients, I will find Clay's killer. Okay, it's December 16th, 9:55 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 4. There we are. Oh yeah, the choice of soda today. It is some kind of a hipsterous black cherry soda that I picked up at like a farmer's market. In a glass bottle. Court is now in session for the trial of Solomon Starbuck. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Did I let a pirate in here? I'm sorry. Excuse me, Mr. Justice. Yes, Your Honor? What happened to your eye? I'm fine. The defense is ready, Your Honor. That doesn't answer my goddamn question. Are you sure I don't? I'm fine, Your Honor. The defense is ready. I'm sorry, Your Honor. He's been like this since yesterday. He keeps insisting it's just a sty. I suppose it's something he doesn't want to discuss. Judge Santa. Beard fluffy as ever. Maybe he's entering a touchy age. This is not puberty, Your Honor. Very well, and the prosecution? You bastard. The prosecution appears to be ready as well. Silence. Or not. You woke me up from my nap. Not yet. I'm not quite ready yet. Come on! Why? Did I let a pirate in here? Yes, like 2 trials ago. The prosecution is now ready. Well, it didn't take him long this time. It's like they're getting more and more brittle. Or he is benching some heavy weights. What's up with Blackwell? Now then, I shall give the opening statement. Silence. Wow. I'll do it. You will? Well, what an unexpected surprise. Oh, no, it's personal. This time I can't leave it to anyone else. I see. Something is off with the two of you today. It's just like, I'm out of the loop here. Could somebody explain this to me? You both seem different somehow. Athena sees it too. But she won't say anything. Very well. Prosecutor Blackwell, your opening statement, if you would. It was just yesterday. The crime in question occurred at the Cosmos Space Center. Oh, that famous federal research facility of all things related to astrology, right? Astronomy. It's astronomy. Anyway, a rocket was set to launch from there. But at 9:28 a.m., before they could even move the rocket to the launch site... Terrorism. 2 explosive devices were detonated, and the launch was cancelled. My word, 2 bombs? How dreadful. The defendant in today's trial is charged with both the bombing and with murder. One Mr. Solomon Starbuck. For whatever inane reason, he detonated the bomb on the rocket he himself would be in. Solomon Starbuck? Oh, I recognize that name. Is he a famous astronaut? I'm having these weird flashbacks to, like, Buzz Lightyear. Correct, Your Boldness. Mr. Starbuck was the pilot of the HAT-1 rocket 7 years ago. As you may recall, despite some interstellar troubles, his mission was a success. Some say it was a miracle he returned alive. I suppose you could say he's a living legend. Oh, I remember now. He's become something of an international celebrity, right? The HAT-1 miracle. Oh my god. So this is basically going to be an Apollo 13 thing going on. Or wait, was that Apollo 11? My brain! They even turned that incident into a movie and everything. We've got a real space pioneer in court today. But even heroes turn for their tumble from their lofty heights. Sir, returning to the subject at hand. Reading. Yes, the victim was one Mr. Clay Tarrant, a subordinate of the defendant. Indeed, a local disciple brutally stabbed to death by his mentor. Stabbed to death, you say? Why do anime characters look more or less the same age from 15 to 28? Have you ever seen that one meme about, like, Japanese women who are just like, once they turn, like, 18 and 21, they're basically they look exactly the same until they turn like 60 and then suddenly blob. You mean his death wasn't a result of the bombing? Correct. Despite his lofty dreams, the victim was seen as an interloper by the defendant. And so he was sent not into space, but to the universe which we mortals cannot see. Brennan can now see the conductor again. Ooh. Okay, let's dig up what the heck this Clay is all about. Who is he? What did he do? You know, why is he important? He seems very important to both of these individuals. I think I've heard enough. The case seems pretty clear-cut at this point. However, there is one thing I'm curious about. That metal box next to the witness stand. Ah, yes, I remember you, old friend. What purpose does it serve exactly? Since you asked so nicely, it's your coffin. Have mercy on me! Why? You're threatening the judge. It's evidence. Due to its immense size, we've little choice but to lay it where it rests now. We shall get to the contents of the box in due time. Let's dig into this clay. Wet Play-Doh sounds. Whew. I feel like I just lost 50 years of my life. How much life do you have? Does he even have 50 years left? I think he's immortal. Inner monologue, Athena. Inner monologue. Enough jabbering. Hey! Bobby Fulbright's the name. In justice we trust. Oh, Detective Fulbright. Very well, then. Please explain the details of this incident to the court, if you would. On it. First, take a look at this pamphlet from the Cosmos Space Center. In it, you'll find a diagram outlining the overall layout of the Space Center. Seriously, why does Conductor sound like Scrooge McDuck? I could see him being very, very greedy, so I'd say that's pretty accurate. Here we are. For a more detailed look at what's on the left side of this building, take a look at this cross-section that we, the police, have created. See the launch pad and the main building? Well, the launch pad is the square building, and the rounded structure is the main building, right? You got it. The incident took place in the launch pod 1 and in the main building's lounge. I'll be using this diagram during my testimony. It'll make it easier to understand. All right, so let's see the details. Just before the rocket was set to launch, 2 bombs went off. Boom! Boom. One on the second floor of the Space Center main building, and one in Launching Pad 1. Thankfully, only the 2 astronauts were in Launch Pad 1 at the time. The 2 of them managed to make it back as far as the boarding lounge. But after the escape, one of the 2 was found stabbed to death. What is the reasoning behind stabbing somebody after just about to board? A murder on top of a bombing. Detective, the victim was already dead by the time you arrived at the lounge, correct? Yep. Thinking he'd sabotaged the bombing, the defendant attacked and killed the victim. Just look at this tragic photo. Oh my! Is that a knife in the victim's chest? No, Your Honor. Clearly, it's a popsicle stick. No. Yes, Your Honor. It's the knife that cruelly ended this young man's dreams. We couldn't get any prints off it, though, because the defendant was in his spacesuit. It's a very stylish knife, I'll say that. By the way, Detective Fulbright, why are the victim's helmet and right glove absent in this photo? We had to remove them to identify him, Your Honor. I personally removed his glove during the investigation. We had to get his fingerprints to confirm his identity, after all. Yes, it would be very difficult to identify him without a face or fingerprints. Now, there's just one more thing I'd like to inquire about. You know, usually all right, I guess the fingerprints are important, but I feel like the face would be enough to tell you, but oh, whatever, I'll go with it. What is that round thing next to the victim in this photo? Something so important to the victim, he took it with him as he escaped the launch pad. A capsule that apparently contains asteroid samples. While obviously valuable for research purposes, it has no relation to this case. Are you sure? I see. So, we know that the bomb in the main building was on the second floor. But where was the bomb that was in the Launch Pad 1 located? That one was on the rocket itself. It was situated around the central part of the rocket. Apparently, the area around the launch pad's elevator was a sea of flames. I would like to submit this diagram and report into the record. Blub blub, I'm on fire. The trial's just started and we're already in a bind. Yeah, get used to it. Besides, that's what cross-examination is for, right? What the two astronauts were doing during the bombing. That'll be the key. Well, let's just see. Just before the rocket was set to launch, 2 bombs went off.
Hold it!
He did boom twice, so clearly that's accurate. How powerful were the explosions? Well, the one in the main building wasn't strong enough to bring the place down, but the room it went off in was burned black. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. Due in large part, of course, to me stepping up to lead the investigation. Evacuation, rather, sorry. Wait, what were you doing there in the first place, Detective Fulbright? I'm Bobby Fulbright, hero of justice. I'll be there whenever and whenever people need my help. I'd go to the other side of the world, or even to the edge of the universe. I feel like he was going to actually capitalize on that since he was next to a spaceship. I'm not sure he knows how far that actually is. But I guess I'll leave that one alone. Admirable decision, Justice Dono. What did you say? Anyway, could you describe what it was like at the Space Center at the time? The bomb cut the power to the central bank of the elevators and the third floor lounge. It was pitch black in there, I tell you. However, the security cameras and whatnot were running on emergency backup. Bobby Fulbright Goes to Space. The movie. The game. Good one, funny stuff. And how did the evacuation go? I immediately and heroically whisked people down to the Space Center's basement shelter. The basement shelter? Yes, there's an emergency shelter beneath the Space Center. An emergency shelter, huh? Oh, here it is. It's at the bottom of the diagram. And there's no floor to the building, to the shelter, so clearly it's bottomless. The Space Center is pretty impressive to have its own shelter. The power outage and evacuation seem unrelated to the murder at this point. I guess I'll leave that aside for now. So there were 2 explosions in total, correct? Yep, that's right. One on the 2nd floor of the Space Center's main building and one in Launchpad number 1.
Hold it!
Well, let me get this straight. Mr. Starbuck rigged a rocket he was going to board with explosives? Dude, what are you talking about? That's insane, sir. If the defendant really did plant the bomb on his own rocket, he'd get caught in the explosion as well. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Fine. A simpleton for a simpleton. Fulbright, the motive. Understood. The defendant actually had astrophobia. Bullshit! Astrophobia? What's that? A fear of space, naturally. Just the thought of space can cause the afflicted to freeze up. And so in his terror, the defendant found a way to stop the launch at the last minute. That's absurd! Unfortunately for you, we have evidence. Take a look at these. What are they? These anti-anxiety tablets were found among the defendant's possessions. It could be anxiety for everything under the sun. It doesn't need to specifically be astrophobia, you jackass. Apparently, he was taking them in secret to quell his fears. There were a multitude of problems with the rocket Mr. Starbuck rode 7 years ago. I could kind of see kind of an issue. All right. If you had been on a rocket previously, I guess you could have a phobia with that. Fine, all right. Devours entire bottles of... Oh, geez. The color is smearing on the screen again. I am not entirely sure what is causing that. Devours entire bottle of tablets. Okay, this is not how it works, by the way. This is like never, never, never OD on anything. But just imagine eating the entire bottle and it somehow makes you entirely emotionless. It's like, beep boop, I am lawyer. Object. Rumor has it threatened to crash a number of times as well. That was, of course, very traumatic for Mr. Starbuck.
Objection!
But that doesn't mean he'd go so far as to blow up his own ship.
Silence.
The defendant couldn't bear to mar his good name, now could he? No, not after the media had branded him Sold Starbuck, space pioneer extraordinaire.
Want to hear something lazy? Oh, by all means, tell me.
Given these conditions, the defendant could hardly run away like some base mutt.
What, so that's why you think he resorted to the bombing?
Naturally, he constructed this act of sabotage in an attempt to blow up the Space Center.
His silence clip is from Fire Emblem Awakening? What? Really? You're sure about that? Because that is an amazing piece of trivia if that's the case.
Which would effectively abort the launch, but spare his reputation.
The character Long Ku says it. Interesting. Still having really weird compression issues. Okay, whatever. Okay, is that going to keep happening? Is the screen, like, tearing for you guys on Twitch consistently and constantly? No idea why they did that, but yeah, cool fact. Anyway, yeah, that screen tearing seems to be only sometimes, but then it stops. I know, but that's still really annoying. Stream is working most of the time, but I'm a perfectionist, damn it. Okay, if it gets bad enough, I might try and restart just to fix it up. Oh, the conductor won the movie award. Uh-oh. That's bad. It's not doing anything unusual on YouTube yet. It was a little bit ago. I wonder if it's just, you know, something to do with OBS and just the connection. No clue. It seems like my Ethernet is fine. Maybe it's the server I'm connected to. Who knows? But anyway, now I'm sure you understand why we have to bring justice down on this atrocious criminal. Thankfully, only 2 astronauts were in Launchpad 1 at the time. Oh, shoot. No, go back. You're skipping. There. Are you sure it was only the 2 of them? It was just before the spaceship was set to launch, so of course it was the only those 2. Funny Stuff says, I can't find anything on the sound being from Fire Emblem Awakening. Alright, interesting. Well, there could have been somebody else inside that rocket.
Silence.
The notion of a third party in Launchpad 1 is utterly absurd. Just to enter the area from the lounge, one must pass through a door guarded by a fingerprint recognition device. And allow me to state up front that there are precious few with clearance to do so. A fingerprint recognition device? It sounds as futuristic and complex as a space center.
Welcome to 2019, where there's a fingerprint scanner on all cell phones. Actually, it's not as amazing as you think, Your Honor. Take a look at this photo. This is the door in the lounge with the fingerprint lock. Only personnel whose fingerprints are registered can pass through.
I see. That is very different from what I had in mind. And is there a record of the number of people that passed through that door yesterday?
Yes, there were only 3. The defendant, the victim, and the director of the Space Center, Yuri Cosmos. It's him! Then doesn't that mean it's possible that the director is the one who did it?
Not a chance. He was in the main building when the bomb exploded at 9:28, doing his job directing the launch.
He could have set something up.
Besides having an alibi, he has no motive for committing these senseless acts.
He has a point. I guess the director can't be considered a suspect then. It's voiced by the same guy who did someone from that game. Don't know if it's clip itself. Okay. Oh boy. You're telling me that the name Yuri Cosmos is interesting. Is it anything like Cosmo from Fairly Odd Parents? two of them managed to make it back as far as the boarding lounge.
Hold it!
Ever heard of a timer? So, while it would appear that the pair barely escaped with their lives, in actuality, one of them had already been murdered inside the rocket. That's the angle the prosecution wants to push, correct? Him. You got it. In fact, that's what I've been trying to say this whole time. If the victim had been alive, he would have for sure tried to stop the bombing. Is there any chance Mr. Terran could have been killed before he boarded the rocket? They were both alive and well at boarding time and embarked under their own power. Their hearts full of hopes and dreams of space. And then both of their hopes and dreams were dashed. If I may continue my explanation, after the evacuation order was given, the defendant made his escape carrying the victim to make it look like a rescue. But after the escape, one of the two was found stabbed to death.
Hold it!
Space! Actually, hold on a moment. I could literally do that. Not the right voice, but it's like poorly enough. Burp. Hold up.
Space!
There we go. Oh, shoot. And who was the first to find the victim? Actually, there were two of them.
The Space Center Director, Yuri Cosmos, and Detective
Candace Arm! Oh boy, she's coming back.
One of them was a detective?
Yep, Detective Arm specializes in bombings, you see. I suppose it would make sense. She was in that first case. It's just weird to see like people from this game coming back. The timeline on these games are weird. She and the director were ordering the evacuation following the explosions. They were also worried about the astronauts, so they hurried over to the boarding lounge. That's when they discovered the victim along with the defendant.
Two witnesses, huh? And one of them is a detective. I doubt either one would have anything to say that would help me.
Oh boy. Yep, we don't get to, like, present anything. We're just getting information.
I think that pretty much covers the details of the case. Only the victim and the defendant were on the launch pad when the former was killed. If this is the truth, then only Mr. Starbuck could have carried out this crime.
What little I could get out of him only hurt my case.
Justice Dunno, foolish is the warrior who rushes headlong into battle. Preparation is essential. Is an essential element of battle. So I'd advise you to take a gander at this. What is it?
Security cameras.
Footage from a security.
Yes! Oh, or this might be bad.
As the two astronauts emerged from the bowels of the Launch Pad 1 corridor.
He said bowels. No knives.
The boarding lounge security camera captured their desperate escape. Now, I would direct your attention to what the defendant is shouldering, which you can see is none other than the lifeless body of the victim.
What? Frankie says, I find it unlikely and suspicious that there was a bomb expert and a federal investigator at the scene before it became a scene. Yeah, that's usually how these games probably go. Owen Shadow says, the first case comes between the 4th and 5th chronologically. If that's not confusing, I don't know what... Oh, definitely. Oh, they have a narrative and they're spinning it.
Order, I say! This lines up exactly with what the prosecution has been asserting. I should have known Blackwell would have something like this ready.
CDs. Who uses CDs anymore? Apollo. How exactly did they determine that Clay was already gone in that footage?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Whether Clay was still alive at this point is pretty crucial. Your Honor, please take another look at the footage. Isn't it possible that Mr. Terran was still alive here and that Mr. Starbuck was helping him?
Why, I believe you're right. one man carrying the other to safety. What a beautiful expression of friendship.
Yeah, we're gonna tear that little flowery world of yours down.
Perhaps that's what it looks like to a one-eyed hothead and a dotard. Excuse me, but it only makes sense if it's the victim's dead body. What do you mean? Fulbright, explain it to Justice Dono.
You got it. Ready, kid? No. Shadow says, I need to buy and finish Daigaikiten Saibon before I get to play it. You can't watch any playthrough. I forget. Daigaikiten Saibon? Isn't that the Japanese one? I forget. I entirely, completely, and totally forget. I'm not 100% completely sure if I'm going to be doing the coverage on that game or not. I might not. It depends. Anyway, yeah. Okay, you got it. Ready, kid? If the murder had occurred in the lounge, someone could have spotted it. Yeah, the ancient Japanese one. Yeah. Anyone can enter the lounge, after all. But doing it while they were alone in the spaceship? That's a horse of a different color.
Objection!
But you can't deny that there's a possibility the murder could have happened in the lounge. All that video shows is a man helping his fellow astronaut out.
Silence.
Your assertion is based on emotion. It's based in your belief that Mr. Starbuck would surely help his own disciple. But you have no logical explanation as to why the victim could be still alive. Unfortunately, Mr. Justice, the prosecution is right. Your argument is lacking in sound logic.
I feel like you guys have not very sound logic too, but you know, whatever. You're the runners of the court. Oh, Brennan. you poor, sad fool.
But it sounded perfectly logical to me. Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no further objections, I believe it's time to bring the cross-examination to a close.
Objections?
Well,
Hold it!
Thank you, Athena. I was about to say. Your Honor, the defense requests a little time to think and regroup.
But given the facts, I'm not sure I see the need. What is it, Athena?
It's just, there's something that's been bothering me.
If it isn't the defense stalling for time, as always. Very well. I'm feeling generous. You may have a small measure of time.
Yes! Also, who rechained you?
You have 5 seconds.
5 seconds?!
After that, I declare this cross-examination to be closed and a verdict to be rendered.
If I actually have only 5 seconds, I'm saving now, but I feel like that's a cop-out.
Your baldness, raise your gavel high. It's time for a countdown.
Oh!
Ready?
We don't have time. Spit it out, Athena.
Only 3 more seconds.
Look, I don't think the prosecution's explanation is very complete.
Meaning?
Meaning there's something missing. Like, they conveniently left it unexplained.
Something they didn't explain?
You're right. I think I know what you're talking about.
Your 5 seconds are up, Mr. Justice. Is there anything about the prosecution's argument that you'd like to rebut?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, there is. There is something the prosecution has yet to make clear in this court.
Well, if you put it that way. What is it that the prosecution has failed to explain?
The motive, or okay, I guess we know the motive, but why do you have to even move the body in that case? They have failed to explain why Mr. Starbuck would bother bringing the body back at all. If the defendant wanted to kill the victim, why didn't he just leave his body in the rocket? Why go through the trouble of bringing him all the way back to the boarding lounge?
But, whoa, that's true. I don't think we've heard the prosecution's thoughts on that yet.
That's because they have none, Your Honor. After all, How does one explain something so illogical? I'm sure you have the answer. You're just being a stuck-up asshole. The prosecution is claiming that the defendant moved the victim's dead body. But what if the entire premise of that argument is wrong?
Then let's hear your theory, Mr. Justice.
Oh, wait, never mind. It's an elevator now back at the first level. Got it. The defense proposes that the defendant didn't kill the victim. He was helping him.
Yeah? Will Wright explain it for our sad friend here before I nod off to his monotone monologue? Inform him exactly why Space Boy moved the victim?
Gotta be joking. It's simple. Mr. Starbuck did what he did to direct suspicion away from himself. He wanted to create the impression he heroically risked his life to save his partner. That's why he made sure to make it to the security camera so there'd be a record.
At the very least, he appears to have achieved success with you and the old man. One man carrying the other to safety. What a beautiful expression of friendship. I'm such a sucker. The average person wearing a spacesuit weighs easily over 200 pounds, saving the life of a partner who weighs as much while trying to escape deadly flames. What a dramatic sob story fit for the silver screen. Indeed, I was completely taken in by the humanity of the story. You see, yet the true ending is that all traces of his hammy act were meant to be blown up. Yeah. Yes, and now we arrive at the thrilling conclusion. The third explosion.
When were you going to tell us about this? What are you talking about? There was no third explosion.
Silence.
Indeed, you are correct. But that is thanks to Detective Arm. It was she who identified and secured the bomb. However, it doesn't change the fact that the third bomb was discovered in the lounge. The steel coffin beside the witness stand, that would be a bomb transport case. We used that to transport the deactivated bomb here. It was found in the lounge. A bomb in the form of a most distasteful toy.
What? No, not the elephant. Funny Stuff says, okay, I'm playing Slime Rancher right now, and I just saw two phosphor slimes who were on top of each other, which made their physics glitch, and then they rocketed off into space together. And then they smacked into the roof of the map and fell back down. Yay, physics.
One on the second floor of the main building, one on the launch pad, and one in the lounge. The defendant planned to set off 3 firework displays. Fortunately, the third was discovered before it could be detonated. For had it not, the victim's body and other vital evidence would surely have been immolated.
Objection.
Hey, excuse me, I am allowed to object.
Before you utter a word, know that the evidence supports me.
Sure. It's like he's reading my mind.
As it is still undergoing forensics investigation, I do not have the evidence on hand. However, I know that a peculiar item was found in one of Mr. Starbuck's pockets.
Was it coffee? Coffee!
Specifically, a bomb detonation switch.
You found what? Cool. Good to see I'm gonna lose this case.
I suspect the defendant had no time to destroy such damning evidence. When the Space Center director and Detective Arms stumbled across the murder, so he thought to hide it in his pocket. Feeble brain that he is.
No. Mr. Starbuck would never do anything like that. Come on, man. Ah! Wouldn't he be in the lounge?
Justice Dono, open your eyes and see the truth. This appears to be irrefutable evidence that the accused set off the explosions.
No, there has to be some kind of mistake. This can't be the truth.
Still can't accept it. You'll believe in your client, come what may. Then why don't you cross-examine that defendant himself?
Oh boy. This is going to be the longest cross-examination in the world if that's the case. This has got to be a trap. No, exactly. It's like Blackwell's controlling the entire game. Yeah, it seems like he was waiting for me to bring up the body moving issue. Why do you say that? Because he had just the right argument when I pointed it out. And to really rub it in, he had a decisive piece of evidence up his sleeve, too. He was trying to shake my faith in Mr. Starbuck and break me down. Then making you cross-examine Mr. Starbuck at this point was part of his plan, too. Totally underhanded, but I wouldn't expect anything less from him. Yes.
Now, let us hear from the arch-villain, the fiendish murderer himself. Famed astronaut Solomon Starbuck.
Hello, friend. Please give me some kind of information. Oh, great. The screen is cutting out again. Both on YouTube and on Twitch. Surprisingly, it seems like Mixer is okay. Maybe it has something to do with the FTL encoding that I've got going on for it. You know what? Real quick, I am actually going to I'm going to restart the stream, and it should come up relatively soon afterwards. And this is just that I'm trying to reset things so that maybe it'll fix up the connection issue. So give me a quick sec. I'll be right back. Okay, we back? I hope so. I don't know. Every once in a while, an OBS restart actually does fix a lot of things. I know I restarted my computer before I started this stream, so hopefully that's not the issue. I'm pretty sure it has everything to do with the encoding. Hello, Shadow. Hurrah! Okay, anyway, name and occupation, please.
Solomon Starbuck, astronaut.
This is going to be the most depressing witness statement ever.
How did this happen?
How did this happen to him? No, that song is old and done. Starbucks? Hello, Shara.
Mr. Starbuck, you aren't looking very well. Will you be able to give testimony?
No. What? You forgot to pay for coffee? Nope. Okay, the video has cut out for me on YouTube. Has it cut out for anybody else? Oh, technical difficulties. The night. I certainly hope that isn't a consistent thing. I hope these things are cleared up for the 500th stream that I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Twitch is fine. Okay, that's fine. Oh, that's weird. Stream froze when he said no. Oh my god. No. Stream end. Okay, see ya.
Alright. Well, unfortunately, no is not an option. You are being accused of the Space Center bombing and the murder of Clay Terran.
Wait a minute. Clay Terran. Clattering? Clatter? There's a pun somewhere in there. My Phoenix Wright pun senses are tingling.
Please testify to these allegations.
Mind if I take this suit off? It's getting really heavy.
Silence.
I can't believe someone named after Setter Bakusu can be so sleepy. Jesus. Oh, by all means, tell me the pun. Actually, hold on a minute. Clay and Terran. I think those things have to do with, like, Earth you know, like Earth substances, and since this guy's an astronaut, I feel like that would fit together. Is that it? Oh my God, is that a Joker? No, not all like, you know, pretty Japanese boys are Joker. Joker has a new feather Sona. Just saw it.
It's not the weight of the suit that you feel, but of your sins.
Oh, bullshit.
Prepare to carry that weight for the rest of your life.
Clay as in clay, Terran as in terra, meaning earth. Terra also term for earth in some cases. Yeah, that's kind of what I was guessing there.
Banish me to the moon, I don't care anymore.
Wow, that was super negative. Is he going to be all right up there? He'll be fine, I think.
Earthling.
As long as he doesn't totally give up and say he did it, that is. At this stage, I feel like he might. Most of the characters in this case have names based on space. Fitting. Not every pretty Japanese schoolboy is Joker, but every Joker is a pretty Japanese schoolboy. That is accurate.
All I did was support Clay over my shoulder and get us out of the rocket. Like always, I took the elevator down to the middle level and headed for the corridor. Clay had passed out by the time we got to got the order to evacuate. I didn't kill Clay, I was trying to save him.
He seems like he's got some pep in his step for that one.
So, you were certain you didn't set off the bombs or murder the victim?
Why would you?
But I bet you think I'm lying, right?
I reserve all judgment until after I've heard your full testimony.
God, this is the most depressing testimony.
I'm sure you don't believe me. I bet you don't even believe I'm an astronaut.
I don't think the judge doubts that.
Who'd wear a suit like that except an astronaut? I feel like I would like to wear a suit like that, but like they said, very, very heavy suit. Shara doubts he's a real astronaut. There we go. We got one vote against you.
You appeared quite courageous, though I suppose reality never quite lives up to fantasy.
I guess I'm just a big disappointment. I really don't care what happens anymore.
Oh boy, somebody, I mean, okay, he's on anxiety medications. I think he needs some antidepressants.
Oh no, he's completely given up.
Why question marks?
What a depressing fellow. If you were to join me in the clique, I imagine that annoying sighing of yours would rub off on other inmates.
Like how it rubbed off on Prosecutor Blackwell a second ago. Huh? That was Blackwell sighing? Mr. Starbuck's testimony contains a glaring contradiction. The question is, what does it mean? Even if Mr. Starbuck is my client, I can't be gun-shy now. It's time to find out the truth. Apollo is definitely an astronaut. There we go. Let's strap him to a spaceship. No, you know what? Never mind. We got to cut corners. Strap him to a rocket and send him into the stratosphere.
All I did was support Clay over my shoulder and get us out of the rocket.
So what you're saying is that the victim was still alive at that time? Oh, good. We're still having technical issues. All right, then I say that has something to do with Restream and nothing to do with me. Damn it.
Of course he was alive and well.
Silence.
If so, then you admit you took a man who was alive and well and silenced him prematurely with this.
What? No, black hole confirmed. Dead ahead. It's no good, Captain. I'm getting sucked in. What? Objection! Mr. Starbuck, you are not in space. Please give your testimony seriously. It was just nerves, but maybe I shouldn't have said he was alive and well.
That was more like he was slumped over.
Those are complete opposite ends of the spectrum.
Funny Stuff says, I wish this case ended in everyone going to space and having court in zero gravity. I wonder how this, the objection points. I feel like that would not work in space. Just because, it would completely throw off your momentum. It's like, objection! And then you start spinning to the right. Okay, now I see how NASA got a photo of the black hole. The black hole shadow, rather. Like always, I took the elevator down to the middle level and headed for the corridor. Is that the elevator inside the launch pad area? That's right. We always use it to get to and from the cockpit. That makes sense. So he was just using the route he always used? Yeah, in spite of the fact that there had just been an explosion? Huh? I think Mr. Starbuck is hiding something. Something pretty big. Okay. Objection! Crashes into prosecution. Athena, I can't stop spinning. Help! Clay had passed out by the time we got the order to evacuate. I'm just imagining the song, You spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record. Passed out? Why was he passed out? Shadow says, that reminds me of that one video where Phoenix and his ancestor faced off and Phoenix couldn't stop spinning. I've not seen that video. Probably because of the explosion. The noise and vibration were incredible. It's little wonder a person would pass out, right? I guess. Not that I know. I've been hit by space debris. The main engine's on fire. It's gonna blow. Dude, this guy has got some serious PTSD. Holy crap. Yes, I see. I guess it does make sense that someone would pass out. Jesus. Especially if the person in question is Mr. Starbuck. Shara's saying, I'm looking at this rocket blueprint. They're showing and... Okay. They're showing and think about what Elon Musk would say. Or what he would say about the whole situation. I mean, I think I made an Elon Musk joke, like, at the very beginning of this testimony. I'm just like, especially if the person... Okay, Mr. Starbuck. Yep. Anyway. I didn't kill Clay. I was trying to save him. Don't worry. I understand. I'll make sure everything turns out all right. Sigh. But everyone's glaring at me like I did it. Apollo, you have to reassure him better than that. And how am I supposed to do that? Try to imagine how he's feeling and use that to figure out how to boost his confidence. Mr. Starbuck, think back to what Clay used to always say. It's times like these when he would repeat, I'm fine, to himself. Oh yeah, everybody seems to be saying I'm fine here, pretty much. I'm fine. Yeah, I guess he did say that a lot. But you made me think of Clay. But even if I shout at Clay, he'll still be dead. What's the use? Dang. Can somebody please reassure me now? Oh, shoot. Everybody's depressed! Depression, the video game. Let's see. Starbuck is a Pekin astronaut. How could he be so nervous and unstable? He was in a very, very major accident that nearly killed him in space. That's pretty much why. He's a very broken astronaut. Apollo, there's something strange about Mr. Starbuck's test. Oh my god! I have a therapist in the house. Please, please, help me. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. There's a glaring contradiction. I just wonder why it's there and what it means for our case. Well, it doesn't look like he's lying, at least. Guess I'll have to show some evidence. Shoot. Would Starbuck be a dragon, a bird, or a phoenix, a dog, or a pegasus, if he had to be one of those? Probably a pigeon, because those things hang around the Starbucks all the time. Anyway, it was this. Like always, I took the elevator down to the middle level and headed for the corridor. I think this is the one that I'm supposed to be presenting stuff on. And if I had to take a guess, it probably has something to do with the map. Here, yeah, the Space Center diagram. Cross-section view of the main building of the Space Center, Launchpad 1.
Objection!
No! This evidence is a complete odds with the witness's testimony. Oopsies.
Your baldness.
You told me.
What do you make of this objection of his?
Oh, I don't know if I should, well...
I have no patience for vagaries. Now answer my question.
Yes, sir. The defense's objection was clearly misguided.
Bravo. Nicely done.
Oh, seems our misguided attorney has earned himself a penalty.
Crap. Okay. I don't think he even cares about being called a name, considering the prosecutor will probably actually kill someone. Okay. I still think it's this one. Like always, I took the elevator down to the middle level and headed for the corridor. Are there any clear contradicting things about that? Here, let me see. The explosion sparked a fire on the second floor of the main building and the middle level of the launch pad near the elevator. The bombs went off despite tight security. Police officers and riot police who biometric doors. Video showing the defendant and victim escaping from the corridor. The picture of the bomb's location. I think it might have something to do with the bombing report, maybe. I guess I'm a little bit cloudy on this one. I'm going to attempt to try this.
Objection!
Yeah, all right. Not completely 100% sure on this one, but okay.
Mr. Starbuck, I need your testimony to be as accurate as possible.
Was I not being accurate?
No, because it's impossible for you to have taken the elevator down to the middle level.
What makes you say that, Mr. Justice?
Please recall when the bombs went off in Launchpad 1. Also recall that after the explosion, the middle level elevator was engulfed in flame. Oh. That'll make it hard.
Well, you're right, which means...
Exactly. The Launchpad's elevator would have been unusable. In other words, Mr. Starbuck, your statement is decidedly inconsistent with the facts. Oh, don't you hide from me.
What the hell, that... mission command.
Actually, I feel like I should probably put on a filter. This probably isn't the right filter for this, but...
Mission command! Mission command! Do you read me? Come in, please!
Objection!
That actually kind of works.
This is Mission Command. I order you to pay attention! Stop this nonsense and answer my question, Mr. Starbuck! My helmet! My oxygen! What the fuck? Oxygen concentration and body temperature declining. Requesting medical assistance.
Oh, you remember what I said about therapy? I think he needs an entire bucket load of it.
Mr. Starbuck, we are not in space right now. Please stop pretending you have lost consciousness and stand back up.
I apologize, Your Honor. I forgot I was still on Earth.
Yet again, I said it before, but this is some serious ass PTSD. Holy crap. His facial expression looks like ones of PS1 Crash Bandicoot. Oh, I can see it. I feel like we all just got a real glimpse of Solomon Starbuck the astronaut. Oh, weenie. He needs better anti-anxiety meds and months of intense therapy. I mean, at this stage, I wonder, like, oh god. I don't even want to say it, but, you know, let's go old school and give him a lobotomy. Yeah, he seemed more like an astronaut now than when he was doing all that sighing, rather. Mr. Starbuck, could you please explain the inconsistency in your statement about how you use the middle level elevator?
was nervous and I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I actually took a different route, I think.
A different route? You know what would help? Maybe we could cut through his testimony with some, therapy sessions, Athena. That way it's a lot clearer. Buddy. Edgeworth has bad PTSD, sure. But Starbucks is pretty bad. Right. At least, Edgeworth doesn't start to hallucinate things.
I hope you're able to deliver a straight story this time.
I'll get it right this time. Maybe. Oh, no, I mean, probably.
Probably. It's understandable to be nervous, but let me remind you, accuracy is paramount in court. Well.
Okay, so how did you escape through a hole in the floor? Through the vents.
Let's see. My escape route. What I said before was a mistake. I remember now. I took a different route. Maybe, probably. With a capsule and clay in my arms, I made my way down from the upper level.
It's still very freaking muddled. We're still having technical difficulties. Why?
So you're saying you escaped without using the elevator? That's right. There's a ladder that spans the upper and middle levels. I used that ladder to get to the middle level. Luckily, the fire hadn't reached that ladder, so we could make our escape that way.
Shara says, it's understandable to be nervous, but I just want to remind you that I am Dr. Wily, and you should look at me and then buy new Mega Man. Hey. No, I will not fall for those tricks. Although I have been thinking about buying the new Mega Man 11, honestly. Especially, I actually found this out, the DRM that was included in Mega Man 11 on PC, it's not there anymore. And that was one of the reasons why I didn't buy it. So, hey, maybe.
And the capsule you mentioned. I suppose you mean the thing next to Mr. Terran here? Was the capsule that important that you'd risk your life to take it with you?
It almost goes without saying, but yeah, that capsule contained asteroid samples. Therefore, it's invaluable as research material.
What I'm wondering is, why were they with you on the spaceship when you hadn't even taken off yet? Why are you sending asteroid samples to space? What do you all have against De Nouveau? I wouldn't have too much of an issue with De Nouveau if it didn't hamper it. One, if it were necessary, and two, if in many different circumstances De Nouveau ends up breaking a game's performance, which in a lot of cases it can if it's just thrown in at the last minute. Yeah, that kind of thing. Oh, wow, wait a minute. Shadow says, hold up. Athena has PTSD too. Oh, goodness. 2 of the only characters with PTSD in the entire series are in the same room here. Come to think of it, there's a lot of PTSD going on in this game. Quite a considerable amount of it. Weird.
Therefore, it's invaluable as research.
Okay, so why are you sending it in space?
With a spacesuit on, Clay weighed a ton, but securing the capsule was also important.
I need you to answer to the best of your ability. Mr. Starbuck, please remember that your verdict is riding on your testimony.
Yeah. Maybe I am guilty after it.
No! Shut your mouth.
I wonder if you could see the stars in prison. Bet it's more comfortable than a spaceship.
Oh, his hair does look like a rocket. I did not put that together. I just thought he was being a fancy bastard. Objection! Don't let him say that shit.
Let's see. My escape route. What I said before was a mistake.
Hold it!
How could you mistake such a basic fact?
Hey, everybody makes mistakes, but try thinking about the vastness of space instead. From Earth, it takes 4 light years to travel to our nearest neighboring star. So, you see, compared to the vast expanse of space, human error is insignificant.
Thanks for letting me know, jackass. Thanks for making me feel so small. I wish he considered it just a little more significant than 0.
Enough jabbering, get on with your testimony.
He just seems so bored and so upset about being anywhere.
I remember now. I took a different route. Maybe, probably.
It's a yes or a no, sir. It's very simple.
Maybe, probably.
Did I hear you right, Mr. Starbuck?
I didn't say either of those things. Mission Control, come in, please. An error has occurred in the sound system. Activate the emergency tin can telephone. Oh no!
What the fuck? Tin can telephones are ineffective in the vacuum of space!
Silence.
Stop this nonsense or I will sever you and your tin can telephone. All right, I'm begging you. I'll tell the truth. Just don't sever anything.
Apollo, is he gonna be alright? I don't freaking know. I think he needs to be heavily grounded. What is this game? Are you talking about the one you're playing right now, or are you talking the, you know, Phoenix Wright Dual Destinies, or are you talking about the game of life? Many options.
I'm starting to think he's not. Let's see. So about when we were running away with a capsule and clay in my arms, I made my way down from the upper level.
Hold it.
Athena is like, oh, what am I doing here? It's like, it's this and Galactic Scooter. I don't know. This game has completely gone off the rails, but honestly, that's why I play Phoenix Wright games.
The upper level of the launch pad area? That's right. That's what I said, isn't it?
Granted, that route does exist.
So, to recap, you had clay over your right shoulder and the capsule in your left hand. Yeah, it's really important, so I couldn't let it get burned up. So, even though clay was really heavy, I couldn't afford to carry him with both hands. I did the best I could with him over one shoulder and the capsule in my other hand.
I don't think the meaning of what he just said has hit him yet.
You know what you have to do with that statement? Justice Dono?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I got a pretty good idea about that one.
Yes, I know. Well, I've come this far. No turning back now. It's time to present some evidence.
So, Mr. Starbuck escaped with clay and the capsule, which means... So let's just take a look at this image real quick. In his left hand, he has the capsule. In his right hand, he has the buddy. Okay. Oh, Frankie has a theory. My theory. Clay saved the defendant from an attempted assassination. Seeing that the bombs failed the assassin, stabbed Clay by mistake because they both had their helmets on, and then the assassin fled just in time for Starbuck to regain consciousness. That's a pretty good twist. I feel like that is probably what's going to end up happening here. Funny enough, yeah, that is one element that is very clear is that you can't really tell who is who when they have their helmets on. Where's Phoenix, the main character of this game? Oh, he's currently off at his office, probably lazing around. Either that or he's getting the, the smoking gun that's finally going to put the kibosh on, like, the final case. I still like to think that he's resting. He deserves it. Anyway. He must have weighed over 200 pounds just by himself. Yeah, and he had to support Clay, who was another 200 pounds. Plus, he had to ensure the safety of that capsule. I don't think I could have ever walked under those circumstances. Even walked. Walking straight forward is probably about all I would have been able to manage. Oh, Shatter says, you know how I've been drawing Ace Attorney characters as dragons? You've been drawing them as other animals like birds. Apollo is the most bird person I have seen. Definitely, because he's got the weird quail feather thing going on there. Okay, so capsule and clay in my arms. I made my way down from the upper level. I wonder if there's something to do with this statement right here. Capsule and clay in my arms. I made my way down from the upper... maybe it's got something to do with... Video showing the defendant and victim escaping from the corridor to the boarding lounge. So... Interesting. Video showing defendant... I mean, okay. It seems like, yes, he does have clay and the capsule in his arms. And I think it was accurate what, which side it was. Let me think. There's a part of me that kind of wonders if this is... I mean, this is directly talking about the layout of the area. And I wonder if there is something about this that is important. Frankie pointed this out. And I actually kind of agree with him. Ladder. Can you even go down a ladder with a body? I don't think you can.
Objection!
Yeehaw! Mr. Starbuck, why don't you just tell the truth?
The truth? Let's see. The Earth is blue. No, that's not right. So, I guess the Earth isn't blue. Yeah, that's it.
Shara says, okay, in my opinion, he's not guilty. He's just an unstable guy. Well, I hope so, because this is the bastard we're trying to defend.
The truth, Mr. Starbuck.
The oxygen concentration is super low in this area. Prepare the emergency oxygen tanks.
Mr. Justice, the witness appears confused. Please help draw out the truth from him.
Mr. Starbuck, under the circumstances at the time, you couldn't possibly have reached the boarding lounge via the upper level route. Not as long as this was along the escape route. Poke. To get down from the upper to the middle level where the launch pad corridor is, you would have to go down the ladder. Isn't that right, Mr. Starbuck? Of course. That was the only way we could escape.
Objection!
But how would that work? At the time, you were supporting Mr. Terran over your shoulder, were you not? And remember, he was in full space gear as well, putting him over 200 pounds.
Well, it's easy on the moon. Gravity is only 1/6 of what it is on Earth.
Objection!
But the Space Center is located on Earth. Short of being an octopus, climbing a ladder with an adult male in space gear in one arm, while carrying the capsule in your other, is impossible, wouldn't you say?
Oh!
So, Mr. Starbuck, how exactly did you climb down the ladder with your arms full? I'm a spider! You just take off the suit and it turns out he's a spider being. Mr. Starbuck, come clean and tell us the truth now! Again.
Engineer! Where's that engineer? Oxygen leak detected due to faulty... But what the heck?
Whoa, goodbye.
What the... He's flying the coop.
Help! I'm caught on the ceiling! Help! Anyone?
Bailiff, prepare the cherry picker. We must launch our rescue mission at once.
Well, that's one way to take off while being questioned. I'd rather prove his innocence so he can go to space again someday, for real? Now can we take him out of his uniform?
Now then, Mr. Starbuck, do you think you can keep your feet planted on the ground?
You should really get that oxygen thing fixed. Nothing duct tape couldn't fix.
Yes, I apologize for losing control.
Are you ready to tell us the truth? Apparently not.
Not that. Anything but that.
What is going on? This isn't the Mr. Starbuck I know. PTSD is a bitch, man.
It appears Space Boy is prone to deception. Witness?
Yikes! Yeah, yes.
I thought your story odd, but perhaps the inconsistencies can be explained as the result of a medical side effect.
Ooh. Prosecutor Blackwell, please don't talk about that. What are you talking about, Prosecutor Blackwell?
Didn't I already state that Space Boy is, ironically, terrified of going into space?
He's literally hallucinating. Yes!
That's why he took some precautions just before the launch. For, you see, traces of this anti-anxiety drug were found in his system.
Oh, I sense things are about to nosedive.
You got it all wrong. I told him during the investigation, too. I don't know anything about any drugs. I never took any medication, I swear.
It was found in his system, but he doesn't remember taking it? How could that be?
Somebody must have slipped them to me. But I guess maybe that's why I don't remember. Because of the side effects. Yeah, that's why I don't remember much about what really happened.
Or you're just flaky as shit. Shouldn't he be dead with the amount of oxygen he has lost so far? But sir, don't you see? He's dead inside. Oh, and Chara says, at the time when your bro needs help, it doesn't matter how heavy a spacesuit is. The only thing that matters is how to answer in court. Blackwell is a Cyndaquil. That'd be a weird picture. And Brandon says, I don't think having fire coming out of his back in the middle of cases would be a good thing. I don't know. Oh, God, I skipped that. Oh, it's just order in the court. Fine.
We can't get any useful testimony out of him if he doesn't remember anything.
Well, this certainly explains why his testimony kept changing.
Ugh, why didn't he just tell me he couldn't remember?
I guess he didn't want anybody to find out he was terrified of going into space.
Maybe I really did do it. Which brings us to the answer of our original question. Of how the witness climbed down the ladder with a dead body. Simply put, those are superhuman drugs.
No.
He does? So what is it?
That's no good.
A dead man feels no pain and makes no complaints, Justice Dono. So the body was simply dropped down from the top of the ladder. Oh my, I see. And then the defendant could climb down with his free hand.
Drop the body down? Who would do such a disrespectable thing? Besides, dropping the body down would leave marks on the body itself.
So you are capable of quick thinking. Yes, you are correct.
Did you find them? Is that one other thing that you didn't tell me? Okay, cool. Thanks for the attack.
What's this?
It's the oxygen tank from the victim's spacesuit. It's ruptured, and I'm sure you can figure out why.
You can't be implying it ruptured when the defendant dropped the victim's body.
I am, for they fracture easily when struck.
Objection!
Even if that's true, the tank's explosion and shrapnel would leave its mark on the body. Yet, according to the autopsy report, only the knife wound was found on the victim's body. You're clearly grasping at straws with this line of reasoning.
Silence.
A spacesuit isn't heavy for the sake of being heavy, Justice Dono. It includes the latest technological devices and is made of the fabric of tomorrow. This fabric is made to protect astronauts from the dangers of space. So, falling a few Earth yards would hardly leave a mark of the wearer.
Great. The costume did get damaged. Yeah. Then shouldn't it be impossible to stab someone through it as well? It's not Kevlar, you idiot.
It should, and yet, through sheer coincidence, the knife slipped through a weak spot in the suit's structure and found its way to its target.
What are the chances?
You forget that our killer is an astronaut himself with knowledge of how the suit works.
He's got me there. No! Hello, Mario. How's it going? What do I think of the case so far? It is nutty as balls so far.
And now my argument has been proven. Space Boy killed the victim in the rocket and then dropped his body from the upper level. After climbing down, he shouldered the body and made sure the camera recorded them. There's no room for debate about these facts. It is clear that Solomon Starbuck is the only one who could have killed Clay Tarrant. Here, the report regarding the astronaut's oxygen tank. Consider it my send-off gift. Feel free to use it as payment to cross the river Styx.
Shut up! Did you send an oxygen tank via a saber? How did you do that? Jesus Walrus, these names. Exactly. Oh my god, everyone's losing in this case so far. We need an out. Somebody. Hey, this report's pretty detailed. The display on the astronaut's left shoulder shows how much oxygen remains. After the incident, the victim's tank was ruptured and the remaining oxygen was 0%. The tank belonging to Starbuck, who claims to have carried the victim, said it was 80% full, and was functioning properly at the time. Uh-oh. I guess that explains... Okay, that means these glowing cyan digits represent the amount of oxygen remaining.
I'm done for. I'm gonna prison instead of space. Space Boy.
Yes!
Tank hot. The bejeweled night sky is still beautiful even when viewed through bars.
Shut your face!
You mean the stars as seen from prison?
Through bars. You're not going to see all of them at the same time.
That's right. Your cell will be your spaceship. Picture the view through iron bars. It's like being an astronaut in your own craft for all time.
That's not a half-bad thought. You... God, shut up! Funny stuff. Go to Space Shell! Mr. Starbuck. Prosecutor Blackwell got him good.
Spaceship, prison cell, fly me, my guilt, and my despair into the deepest, darkest space. And then, let's get sucked into a black hole together!
Objection!
Mr. Starbuck, you can't give up hope.
Oh? Yes, Apollo?
You know, Clay really looked up to you. He said you are an incredible man. He said you'd never give up your dreams and passion for space, no matter the situation.
He said that?
So don't give up now and help me prove your innocence. Just shoot him and send the family a bill. Is Twitch chat broken? No one is there. No, there's people there. There's like Frankie there. I don't know, maybe like refresh. I'm not sure. Anyway, for the sake of the man who respected you and believed in you, Clay Tarrant.
For Clay.
Clay actually is a name, though. I know Clay's a name. Which is hilarious because they always pick a name that's actually a name usually, sort of. Oh.
You're wasting your breath.
Yes! Let's get some hype going! Okay, he's just shouting at the sky now, Jesus.
Apollo, thank you. I can see things clearly now. Mr. Starbuck? I'm fine now. Thanks for reminding me of my life's mission. Right. We'll both be fine. I'll prove your innocence. You'll see. And after that, we'll get you back into space. Ah! You've ignited the booster rockets of my soul! I'm on fire! I am Solomon Starbuck, astronaut, a cosmic hero chosen by the universe itself. This is no time to be whimpering and crying. I can't let you and Clay down. Balderdash! The sun, the moon. All of space is calling me, Solomon, Soul Starbuck. Ready for launch. Begin the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift up. Okay, what the heck is even going on? Are we gonna? Oh my God! Please. Nope. Okay, never mind. I thought maybe he'd be able to swim through the air and I would just fall over. Well, I feel like I've witnessed an actual rocket launch.
Apollo, you did it! You broke Prosecutor Blackwell's grip over Mr. Starbuck.
I can't take the credit. It was all Mr. Starbuck. He pulled himself through. If you simpletons are done massaging one another's egos, no matter how positive your mood, my advantage reigns unshakable. I have but to wait for the final guilty verdict. Isn't that right, your baldness? I can't let up now. I have to stop Blackwell. I have to see this through. Mr. Starbuck just has to make it back into space.
He has to send him to the stars.
I won't allow Clay's dream to remain unfulfilled. I've got to destroy Blackwell's argument somehow. Think, Justice, think.
Yeah, I only just recently noticed, like, not too long ago. Actually, Shara noticed that there was, like, a rocket. It was like, where? Did Blazion, a yokai, inspire him or something? I have no freaking clue.
If the only people at Launchpad 1 were Clay and Mr. Starbuck, and if Clay was already dead by the time this footage was taken, then the only person who could have killed him is Mr. Starbuck. So the only way to counter Blackwell's argument is if I can prove that Clay was still alive when they arrived at the boarding lounge. In which case, I should be able to find some contradiction in the evidence itself. Now, let's see. About this data that we just received. This supposedly proves that Mr. Starbuck dropped Clay's body at Launchpad 1. But if I'm going to prove that false, then there must be something I can use here.
All this talk makes you want coffee. You and me both. Some kind of a drink.
Enough of this farce. Your baldness. Let's have your verdict.
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackwell, you seem to be in quite a hurry to rush to a verdict. But about this oxygen tank data you submitted just now. It says that Mr. Starbuck's tank had 80% remaining, while Mr. Terran's had 0. Do you stand by that accuracy of that report?
Of course. Then I guess it simply means that it's faulty as evidence goes. You will explain what you mean, Justice Dono.
It's simple. This evidence contradicts the facts of the case. Take a look here at the detailed description and you'll see what I mean.
I hope you have some evidence, Mr. Justice, because I don't see what's so contradictory.
Yes, Your Honor, right away. This is the evidence that the oxygen tank report stands in contradiction to. So, I think I did see something here. The display on the astronaut's left shoulder shows the oxygen remaining. After the incident, the victim's tank was ruptured, and the remaining oxygen was 0. The tank belonged to Starbuck, who claims to have carried the victim, said it was 80% full. So, what do we got going on here? Tanks were functioning properly at the time. So, let me take a gander at it. I think I know what's going on here. Boink. I think we got it.
Take that!
Is that right?
How does this explain present contradiction?
Oh, God. The problem is this part here. Okay, it's asking me to point. I'm just like, did I get it wrong? No, okay. This little number sitting over here. Note the remaining oxygen in Mr. Starbuck's tank as he carries Mr. Terran.
It appears to say 50.
Yes, but according to the data, our client's tank had 80% remaining.
The oxygen in the tank increased?
I see Your Honor finds it as strange as I do. It's bad enough that there's a contradiction, but the increase in oxygen is beyond illogical.
Oh my, you're absolutely right! What's going on here?
Silence.
I too find it odd that the oxygen remaining has increased. It would be as odd as if my rations were to increase. But what does that prove? It doesn't change the fact that it is the defendant carrying the victim's corpse.
Objection!
I'm gonna bet you don't get more rations because you don't abide by the rules. Either way, the oxygen remaining shouldn't increase, just as your rations don't increase. Therefore, the new information is critical. We can't overlook it.
Silence.
In that case, do you have an answer to this riddle of the mysteriously increasing oxygen? You better not disappoint, or I'll declare the inconsistency a mere equipment malfunction.
Oh boy, I should probably save just in case I actually don't have any idea. Let me do so. Shadow says, meanwhile, I, knowing all the facts of the case, am quietly laughing to myself watching me theorize. And that's kind of one of the better things. One, I mean, theorizing is cool, but unfortunately, if I get really, really stuck, that's got to be frustrating as hell. Just being like, oh god, no, just, it's the lollipop, you asshole, the lollipop. Pick it. And by the way, please do not just randomly give me answers.
Prosecutor Blackwell has a point. I suppose it could be a simple malfunction. Mr. Justice, if you cannot provide an adequate counter-argument to this point, I'm afraid I must bring this trial to an end. So, do you think you can explain why the remaining oxygen level increased?
Of course I can. The thing to do at a time like this is turn my thinking around. Mr. Starbuck had no memory of it, but he claims to have carried clay. So this man with the 50 on his tank ought to be Mr. Starbuck. But if anything, the display on his oxygen tank should have shown an 80. This is a clear contradiction between the report and the security footage. So what I should be asking is not, why did the oxygen level increase? But what had to have happened to make it look like it increased? Oh, I know. I got it. I think I got it. Am I making some kind of mistake in my base assumptions here?
Well, Mr. Justice, we're waiting.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm ready to answer. I got it. This is why the remaining oxygen appears to have increased. They were going the other way. The victim was carrying the defendant. The tanks were damaged. Yep. What if it was the other way around?
What, the other way around? Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice?
As you can see, Your Honor, both men had their helmets on in this footage. But it turns out, this is where our base assumptions went astray. We assumed that it was Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran, but it was the other way around. It wasn't Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran out at all. It was Mr. Terran who was helping Mr. Starbuck to the boarding lounge.
It was what?
Got it.
Oh, order! Mr. Justice! You mean to tell me that the person on the right in this image is the victim, Clay Terran?
It's the only way the riddle of the increasing oxygen level can be solved, Your Honor. At this point in time, the remaining oxygen in the victim's tank was at 50%. And when the victim was found in the boarding lounge, his tank was at 0%. That's right, there's nothing contradictory about the oxygen level decreasing. This means Mr. Terran was alive as they made their escape to the lounge.
Silence.
How short your memory is. Have you forgotten what you yourself proposed? Even if the victim was alive at this point in time. How did he descend the ladder with his arms full?
Objection.
Prosecutor Blackwell, you can't hurt me with a broken blade.
Excuse me.
Yeah, don't you threaten somebody who has some very, very sharp utensils. All spacesuits have names assigned to them, aren't they? The camera couldn't pick it up or some bullshit, or... Okay, plot convenient parts of the... You know. It's true we don't know how they got down the ladder. I suppose that matter needs further investigating, but we have proven that Mr. Terran was alive when he reached the boarding lounge. This fact alone shatters your claims and opens up the possibility that the victim could have been killed by a third party. Ugh! Yes. There were two people who claimed to be the first on the scene, but can we truly trust their statements? I see. So it was a manipulation. Ooh. Let's see. The two people were Detective Candace Arm and Yuri Cosmos, right? You think that one of them might have given a false statement to the police? Yes, it's certainly possible. We might have to do a little more digging.
It seems we'll have to hear the testimony of these first two people on the scene.
Score!
Come to think of it, Detective Arm should be here in court right now. Bailiff, could you please show Detective Arm to the stand?
What? Who? Who's saying no? Oh, no, not this asshole again. Okay.
I have an announcement, everyone.
Well, what's the meaning of this? We're in the middle of a trial here.
Please remain calm and listen carefully. Someone has reactivated the bomb. The bomb was defused, but it's about to explode.
Hold! Everybody run! A bomb, now!
Everybody run! Eek, I don't want to die! Oh no, everybody's panicking! Oh, by all means, everybody panic, because this bomb's real. And Ted Tonate's an asshole!
Headless chickens with a death wish. The lot of you, calm yourselves afore all else.
Come on, Apollo, let's get out of here!
But what about Mr. Starbuck's dream?
And who will carry out Clay's final wish?
We can do that shit later, man. I don't care what happens to me. I'm not letting some bomb blow the truth up forever.
I refuse to let things end here! Apollo, this is no time to be dramatic. If we don't get out of here now, we're gonna die! Come on, this way! Hey, ouch! Let me go! Yeah, good thing she did that. Because, that wasn't a, an empty threat. Apollo! Juniper! She hasn't evacuated yet? Eek! Plop. Juniper, are you alright? Apollo, no, not that way! Oh, jeez. Yeah, rubble. Yeah, I know the pun about Candace Arm. I know that one. So, that is what happened before the bomb went off. I'm going to be honest, I really kind of badly want to jump into the next chapter, but I kind of want to save my energy and my voice and all of that sort of nature for tomorrow for our BitB Streams 500th stream special. So, I think this is where we are going to cut it off. But again, for everybody that is currently in the chat right now, we'll get to this next time. But anyway, everybody that is currently in the chat right now, another reminder that on Sunday we're going to be celebrating the 500th stream that BitB Streams has done, which is an amazing freaking number. Like, if you think about it, like that 500 times like 2.5 hours. That is a gigantic chunk of life. Oh yeah, Frankie says 500-ish. This is like the 500 one that I have recorded. It's not necessarily the 500 one I've ever done. But anywho's, yeah, and again, for the record, what we're going to be doing on Sunday is we're going to be playing some Jackbox games, and I'm going to attempt to try and play some Jackbox games with you guys in the chat. We're going to have some people on some voice call, not anybody directly within the Discord server, but with some close friends of mine. We're going to be doing that, and then people a part of the chat, I will be giving the opportunity to be a part of the games by entering the codes. Apollo is dead. Oof. No. This was a prequel. He's okay. Also, they don't know how to disarm a bomb. Oh, they know how. It's just, unfortunately, that one exploded because someone wanted the evidence gone. So, that's the plan for tomorrow. So, if you're interested in playing some Jackbox games, that is going to be available. I'm trying to think of like what else I need to say or talk about with that one. And I'm going to be doing some prep for that tonight, pretty much. I know this isn't the end of Case 4, for sure, but I will go into that the next time. I think this is a real nice place to cut it off for now. But anyways, is there anything else involved with that? I feel like I'm forgetting something important. You know, I'm actually going to head over to the server right now because I posted something about that. Right. Yes. Okay, if you've never played a Jackbox game, I don't know. I'm pretty sure a lot of people in here probably have, but if you haven't, basically you don't need to like get a game or anything. Everybody in the chat can attend. You just need to go to jackbox.tv in like a browser window or like on your phone, and I will everybody will get the code for the game, and I'll be posting that into the game day info area in the BitB chat Discord. So people a part of the Discord will be able to log into the game first, and then once everybody is logged in, I will start the game, and then anybody who is watching afterwards can join the audience. So that is kind of the tentative plan for all of that. So if you're interested in joining that, I would really appreciate it, and I think it's going to be pretty fun. But until then, I think we're going to call it for the night tonight. Anyways, thanks everybody for coming out tonight for the stream. I appreciate it a lot. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to splice those two pieces of stream together because I restarted OBS. But I am going to be uploading it to the YouTube channel after the backlog finally catches up, and I have a slot for it to be uploaded and stuff. Look at all the hands. One of them is a normal hand, and then one of them is a Simpson hand. Sometimes you forget that I am in Central Time. Yeah, I try to remember to specify that at the end of this thing. My schedule is Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday, and all of them start at about 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. So keep that in mind. That's when we are going to begin. So if you want a good chance of being a part of these games, there it is. So, again, I talked about the Jackbox plan tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to be doing on Wednesday. I will say I actually have some new games that I really badly want to jump into and play. So that is the plan. Funny stuff is Homer Simpson. There we go. Shadow is in Eastern Time. So, you get concerned that it's like really super late, and then you remember it's an hour behind. Well, score. I think that will maybe do Hat in Time on Wednesday. Oh, no. I'm not doing a Hat in Time on Wednesday. I'm actually on Wednesday. The DLC was recently announced. So I'm planning on doing that on May 15th, which that's a little ways away, but I feel like it'll be worth the wait. I've got a lot of games that I got to cover, but I'm really excited about that DLC. That looks so amazing. The cats, they're getting their recognition. Which is funny. I've actually thought, like, good lord, they have the cat ninjas and stuff, but there actually aren't a whole lot of cat characters. I'd like to see them get a little bit more of the spotlight, and now they are. Will I do a VR stream soon? I don't want to make any kind of promises, because right now I am currently working out a back issue I'm dealing with right now. Nothing, like, too ridiculously major, but it's it's bad enough that I feel like if I tried to do a VR stream, it would probably be a bad idea. So I'm being cautious with that one, but I do have Vacation Simulator downloaded and ready for when that stream happens. So get excited, get pumped. As well as I have like I said, I've got a bunch of other games that I really badly want to play. One in particular, one that's really been kind of making the rounds for a lot of streamers right now, that I haven't seen any real footage of it, but it looks like it would be up my alley. I think I'm going to be playing that on Wednesday. I'm going to leave that a surprise, and you guys can take a look at what that is. Please heal. Oh, don't you worry. I'm taking good care of myself. I'm doing plenty of, like, it's funny because, like, right around when you actually get sick, or at least, like, in my case, or if I have any kind of a body kind of problem, that's when I actually start to care about my health. I mean, not that I don't already, but it's like, I care enough about my health normally that I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to eat 500. I don't think I'm going to eat 10,000 calories today. It's like, that seems like a bad idea. It's just like, or 5,000 calories. Let's not be stupid. Yeah, like basically stuff like that. But it's when you actually get sick or you have some kind of a body problem where you're like, yeah, maybe I should actually like do some stretches or jog or do something like very creative and constructive. Anyway, I'm just rendering at this point. No, not rendering, rambling. I'm also loopy as balls. Oh, Shadow got hepatitis A few weeks ago. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't really know what kind of symptoms are a part of that, but yeah, but by all means, I hope you're feeling better. I hope you get better. Not 100% certain on what the symptoms of that are or what it is. All I know is that I have been vaccinated for basically everything under the sun about that. Frankie is telling me to focus. Have you seen my streams or known me? Like, how long have you known me? I don't focus. I get really distracted. Just like, ooh, hey, look, there's a butterfly outside. Shadow's not feeling terrible, but you rarely have an appetite unless it's past 4 p.m. Okay. Yeah, you definitely need to remember to eat at those times. Like, that's one thing I'm trying to focus on. Because, again, I'm in pain, and usually that overrides everything. So I need to remember that despite the fact that I'm not hungry, I probably am, and I should definitely sit down and have one of my 3 square meals. It's important stuff. Okay, I have been, like, chatting my head off here. I actually need to start getting the final preparations ready for tomorrow. That should be hype. So I hope to see everybody out there, or at least, like, a good chunk of you. If you don't want to come, or if you don't have any time, or if you're busy, it's cool. And the VOD will be available, hopefully, as long as, like, nothing horrifying happens, like somebody draws something really lewd. By the way, don't do that. Just preventatively, I'm going to tell you, please don't. Well, I hope everybody out there, yeah, like Funny Stuff is saying, I hope you all feel better soon. Same here. Well, Brandon says he's going to be there. Sweet. Right, I'm going to take off and start working on that. So again, thanks for coming out. See you next time.